Nobody's listening, right? Hi, Andy.
Hello.
Is anybody listening?
Yes. Back to the beginning. I'm listening and loving. I recently found the pod and dropped into current episodes for a while before deciding to go back to the beginning. What's ended up happening is that I'm listening to current eps as they drop and then catching up on the 2022 eps throughout the week. What finally made me hop over to iTunes to write a review was the sim moment of listening to Andy's recent ADHD meds updates, followed completely randomly by the 2022 episode where he talks about the physical sensation of not being able to remember things and how real and scary that was. I wanted to reach back into 2022 and give Andy a big hug and tell him he was about to figure it out. I'm getting a little emotional reading this because this is simmy.
I am too.
This
God,
is very simmy
so sweet.
right now.
Yeah.
Anyways, lots of love to you both. Appreciate the perspective you both bring to every combo, and your goofy laughs are the best. Thank you. This is very sim for me because, as you know, I talked about this an episode or two ago. Last night in bed, I was laying there, and I kind of took a break from my medication. Then I kind of got back, and I really was laying in bed and was like, I got to figure out something else.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like I'm. I have an
you're not
appointment
at-
with my doctor soon.
Okay, good. You're not at square one, though.
I know, but it
feels that
I
way.
think that's why this review got me a little emotional. Because I feel like I'm at square one, and I think I'm just stressed out in general.
Mm-hmm.
But literally this morning, I'm not taking the meds for a couple days. I caught myself in forgetting something instantly, which happens to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was kind of going through the thick of this,
it
was happening all the time.
Yeah.
And I was so frustrated this morning of like, it feels like a feeling to me. Anyways, Thank you for the review. It's very timely and I'm figuring it out.
Yes. I do. I know it feels like you're at square one.
Yeah.
And I think there's also a fear of like, well, what if nothing works?
Right.
Because you've tried things, but, keep the faith. You know what doesn't work, which is very helpful.
Yeah.
In getting to what does.
But it used to work.
Oh, I see. No, I get it.
Right,
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
This is not easy, and you're taking care of yourself and
Figuring it out.
Let's
get into the weird stuff.
Okay, I have a few business things first.
Please.
First of all, for any new listeners out there, somebodies or nobodies, it depends on how you identify. Thank you for joining us. This is a podcast where, lower your expectations. We are going to talk about what we would if no one were listening. So it's real hit or miss. Second of all, thank you to all of our patrons. We have a live stream coming up on Patreon. It's going to be Saturday, September 9th at 4:30 p.m. PST.
Ooh, kind of like another happy hour situation.
It is going to be a happy hour.
Was fun.
It was so fun. This time, I do want to have kind of a more focus on anyone who wants to ask us businessy questions, like how podcasting is going for us.
This is Elizabeth. I feel like you're going to announce your master class soon or something like that, or you're going to start doing speaking engagements.
Oh my God, can you imagine? I'd be so bad. I would be good at the performing part. I do like to do storytelling shows and stuff,
Sure.
But I always feel like I disappoint people when they're like, let's meet for coffee or whatever. I'd like to pick your brain, which also I have kind of I get it because I did the same thing.
I heard you recently say to somebody, pick your brain. And
No.
Oh,
Who was it?
I remember, but I was like, oh, she said it. It kind of delighted me. Yeah.
I did?
Mm-hmm.
To who? Who would I say pick? I have no ambition right now. Who am I asking to pick their brain?
I did hear it, though, and it set off the ding for me because you and I have such a funny thing with pick your brain.
It just feels, because I almost prefer someone's like, I'm trying to break into writing. Well, no, I don't want this either. I'm not going to put that out there. But I want to help people, and I do. I help people who are either friends of friends and I'm connected with, or our writer's assistants. I mean, I'm very generous, I do think. Like, have written multiple first scripts with people, got our writer's assistant connected to my manager. You know, there's lots of things that I do. But
on this upcoming live stream, it will probably not be helpful at all, is what you're saying.
yeah. No. I want to have this because people do reach out and I want them to be able to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And Patreon's a great place to go. It's a lovely place. You get all of our back catalog. So that's patreon.com/nobody's listening right.
Nice.
But I do feel like when people go out to coffee with me, I am probably a bit of a letdown because I'm just
How
like...
so?
Well, this is really...
For the Patreon?
This is... Yeah, I guess so.
Come over to Patreon so you can find out how Elizabeth lets people down.
The truth is my path in was not easy. And it never is. My path into, I'm talking about writing.
Right.
The path into podcasting was, but it also was just dumb luck and timing. We were one of the first people on board. And so, you know, when there were 1,000 podcasts to choose from, you know, we were going to be in the top 10 or whatever. So I think usually when people are saying, I want to pick your brain, I want to it's one of two things. It's like, I want to connect with you because I'm networking and like would love a little assistance getting my foot in the door, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
And you have to do that. I mean, the way I networked was fully through our podcast.
Right.
I mean, our pod is so funny. Our podcast got me everything in my career.
Sure.
When I always like ignored it as a factor.
Wow.
It was always this other thing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing people want is to hear like, well, what can I do to make this happen? And that's where I feel like I got nothing. I don't know.
Interesting. I feel like I offer pretty good advice.
Well, of course you do. You are really good at advice. I mean, I'm being honest. I feel so lucky.
Yeah.
Because I get so, you know, I can spiral about things very easily and catastrophize. And you give such great advice and always kind of level me out. And you're just a really good rock
so
for
sweet.
me to lean on.
How do I start a career as a life coach? Andy's.
You don't need any skills.
Handys.com.
Oh, I took one of our children to the hospital the other day. Everything's fine. But as the doctors were putting their gloves on,
surgical gloves,
and one of them like broke their glove and I was like, oh no. And I
did you pitch Andy's Handies?
No, I almost did, but it wasn't the right timing, you know? Okay. And also I didn't want to say Andy's Handies, and I felt like if I started to say
it needs a better name.
I couldn't get into it, but you might have something there. Now, the life coach thing...
I don't actually want to be a life coach.
I know, but my friends and I were joking about... There's this guy from us growing up who is kind of a life coach or like a business coach.
Is Us Growing Up a spinoff of This Is Us?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a great title for a show, Us Growing Up. I might take that. Now I have, what if that's all it is? Now suddenly I'm back in. I want to make this show. I have had a little bit of that this week, by the way, just so you know. Are you upset at me?
No, you're bouncing around though in a delightful way, but I'm anxious to like button up the Patreon thing.
Oh, we're so buttoned up.
We are and we aren't though, is the thing.
Okay, patreon.com/nobody's listening right.
And we'll put a post up on Patreon if you want to send questions beforehand, but yeah, this is going to be the business live stream. Podcasting, writing, music, if you have any questions about that kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, where was I going? I don't fucking know. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? Okay, another bit of business. I did get a message, this is important, and I want to move on from this.
Okay.
But just for anyone has been listening for a while, and for you, Andy Rosen.
Oh.
Poops Explained.
Oh.
I used to work for New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. Thank you to Emily for this. Dog poop is a huge environmental problem.
Really?
We're all out here focusing on carbon emissions, on pollution, on plastic recycling, when dog poop is what is going on. There are billions of bacteria and virus in each poop. When it rains, they go into storm drains and they go into public waterways. Sometimes this can cause beach closures. We can identify the source by testing it, human, pet, or wild animal. This is why it's so important to pick up dog poop. The issue with using bags and throwing them in the trash is they will end up in landfills and can cause similar issues. The most environmentally friendly option is to throw the poop in the toilet so it gets sent to a water waste treatment facility.
Whoa.
So there you go.
Okay. So that seems like the doctors we know or have heard about that like to have their dogs poop into bowls or plates and then put it in the toilet are doing a public service. They're doing their doctor due diligence?
Yes. And then I also have...
That's cool.
I have a follow-up from the person who left the review that brought this back up recently.
Oh, wow.
About her dad.
Yeah.
She says, my dad is a germaphobe, a byproduct of being a doctor, and catches his dog's poop. But he also catches the pee in a cup.
Bullshit. You're making... No.
Yeah.
You're making... No, there. Do you think about the... No. How you can't even do that.
Hang on.
You have a tray?
On. To prevent the smell of ammonia in his yard. You might be wondering how he does this. He uses a long forceps-type instrument to hold the cup and bowl. Maybe pass this tip on to your parents' friend. So thank you to 2cats23 for that.
Okay, 2cats23, 1. We absolutely love you too.
We would love footage.
Stop trolling us.
No.
Wow. Did she say forceps?
I think it's like what I used when I had my back surgery. The go gadget hand thing, to pick stuff up because I couldn't bend or anything.
That's crazy.
So there you have it.
That's really crazy.
All right, so that's it for
great.
Me. You take it away. Take it away, Andy.
Okay, I wanted to ask you what you think a dream that I had means. Now, I know listening to other people's dreams can be horrible, so I'll make this short and sweet. But it's one of the most vivid dreams I've ever had.
Whoa.
And I remembered it all when I woke up and still could tell you clearly. No, this was like a week ago.
Okay.
All right. Picture is me in a house. There's a guy there that's probably 55. He has short grayish hair and a mustache and seems like he might be maybe from Iran maybe or something, but speaks English. But
Iranian American?
Yeah, maybe Iranian American. Cool guy. And I'm at this house and he's going on and on about when he was younger, he won a radio contest. And the prize...
Oh, God, I'm nervous.
No, there's nothing to be nervous about. It's just bonkers and how vivid this was. The prize was a remote control RC car, a Lamborghini one. Okay?
Okay.
And he loved it. And he's reminiscing about this time that he won this with me. And he's like, I've been dying to find it. I just can't find it. And I was like, oh, that really sucks. And I'm asking him, where have you looked around? And next thing that happens, he finds the remote and he's so stoked.
Oh my God, this is so this is so of a dream.
And he's like, I found the remote, but I don't know where the Lamborghini RC car is. And he's going on and the radio contest over and over. I'm like, man. And I asked, can you turn on the remote and can we see if we can find it that way? So we're going through the house. He's got the remote. And then all of a sudden we hear a noise.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
How wonderful.
And it's a box. And we go over to this box.
It's like, meow.
Yeah. And we open it up and it's in there. And the joy that this man experienced was crazy. And it was a yellow Lamborghini RC car. And that was the end of the dream. And I was so happy for this guy.
Okay.
That he found the car.
Let me break this down for you.
Please.
We're going back to St. Louis.
Okay.
We're going back to childhood stuff.
Okay.
We're showing our kids for the first time.
Okay.
Where you grew up. And I want to come back to that. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You've recently kind of reconnected with your childhood best friend, Pat,
Record breakers.
who's not Iranian. What's record breakers?
They were like RC cars, sort of, but without a remote control. And we entered a competition once and did really well at a mall.
Well, okay. And you won so the prize, God, this is like so basic.
Is it?
And you and Pat have bonded over the Heinz grocery store award-winning mini documentary you're making.
Yeah.
And
we've been texting more than normal. I mean, we text, but we've been texting more than normal.
We're gonna see him and his wife soon.
Yeah.
Now, on top of that, I recently showed you a video that Dax Shepard or Kristen Bell, one of them posted with their kids. I knew you would love it, and it was something I was like, I bet you would love to do this with your kids, where he and his kids were like racing these RC remote control cars.
And they were very cool RC
And they were
cars.
like launching them off of things.
Hence
it looked
the Lamborghini.
Really fun.
I think Lamborghini fancy.
And Dax is connected to Formula One. We're kind of getting into Formula One now.
Okay.
So I think all of these things came together. The only thing that is missing for me is like the Iranian American. But all I can think about is, was this after we had seen Artemis?
No, it was before that.
She was talking about. Okay. Well, that's all I got, but it's pretty good.
It was so joyful. Is there anything I can act on here besides getting a Lamborghini? I don't think I'd want a Lamborghini RC car. I'd want something more durable like Dax and Kristen had.
Yeah, we should find out what they had.
So you could go off big jumps and stuff.
So I don't know, but I do love the joy.
Yeah, it felt so good.
And I think you're usually pretty good, even though we've talked about this, you can be kind of a grump or something. Is that what it is? We've talked about how I come across as more sunshiny and happy, but I probably have a bit more darkness in some ways. And you come across as more like a little more curmudgeon-y. I don't want to offend. But you also have a very big capacity for joy over small things, which is really fun. And recently you said to me, I wrote this down, I'll quote it. You said, you should put a little more, ooh, this is interesting, in your life. That's what you said to me. Which I totally know what that means. And I've actually worried, I mean, this podcast is such a good outlet for you. Like, you know, the poop plate. We've spent hours talking about this because you love to like clue into these human, I don't know, things more than I do. And you love to explore it from every angle and pick it apart and put it back together. And I don't as much, but I appreciate that you do that. And I think I was reading about like older people who are 100 years old, what advice they'd give.
Oh.
I wouldn't put it that way, but I think one of the things I genuinely would maybe say is like, have curiosity for little things and big things.
Sure. What was the advice that the 100-year-olds gave? Was this applicable or no?
A lot of them are like, focus on family, you know, the same things you hear.
Same bullshit.
Same bullshit.
Same dumb bullshit.
One thing I was also thinking about was where are you bringing your best self?
Oh, sure.
Like, I feel like in our culture, it's valued to bring your best self to your work. And I think it's always good to try your best in everything you're doing.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But I mean, during my back stuff, I definitely, because I was so hanging by a thread, I was in so much pain. In order to like maintain my job and stuff, I did feel like I had to bring my best self to work.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I felt like you and the kids got the drugs. Like, you weren't getting the best of me. I just had such limited.
You were laid up. See, this is a great thing about family. You get a pass when you need a pass.
That is great.
You weren't a burden or anything. We were happy to help.
But I do think it's a good way of looking at it. Like, I want to give my best self to you and the kids. I really do. And I'll do my best in other endeavors and stuff. But But if I'm starting to feel like something's waning,
Yeah.
the priority needs to be you and the kids.
I love that.
Just on this note, because this is so beautiful and I'm going to cry reading it. Can I read something to you and then I'll stop talking?
Yeah.
Okay. Why am I so, I am having caffeine this morning. That's what's happening.
You're kind of a little bouncy. You want to know something? When you started talking about me and like how I was more grumpy and stuff, internally I told myself, just don't speak for a while because I wanted to see what kind of hole you might have dug yourself into.
Oh no. Did I?
No.
Okay.
And then you piqued my interest to like jump into the conversation, but I wanted to hold out until you said something
Wow.
offensive or
Okay. This was posted on Upworthy's Instagram.
what's that? Is that like Reddit or something sort of?
Well, this actually is from Reddit. It's from Reddit. Okay. You can go to Upworthy's Instagram page to find this and see which Redditor posted this. But it says, my mother died after someone posted this. My mother died after a few months of giving birth to me. Whenever I asked how she died, the answer was that she passed away in her sleep and no one knew why. I just learned a few years ago that she had cancer and was pregnant with me. Giving birth to me severely weakened her and eventually led to her death. I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive myself because from what I've heard from everyone, she was a damn good woman. Okay, so that's intense. Here's the response.
And that's the post?
Here's the that's the post.
What was the context of the thread? Do you know?
I can't see it. I don't know.
Okay.
Here's the response. What? What?
Nah.
Say it.
Nah. It's too dark. I was thinking of what the post could have been. The prompt.
Okay.
Yeah. This time I'm not going to say it.
Okay. I'm not going to get through this.
Okay.
Hey, I'm a mom, and if I know anything, I know that yours would tell you this if she could. So I'm going to tell you for her. Here we go. She never regretted it, not for a second. You were made of everything that was best about her. Cancer may have ended her life, but getting the chance to create yours was her proudest moment. She faced the end with nothing but peace, knowing that you would live on where she couldn't. Sweetheart, you have nothing to forgive yourself for. You did not take her from this world. You are how she remains in it.
It's really sweet. Really
Oh
sweet.
my God. How beautiful.
I mean, what a beautiful, perfect response.
It does make me think about, of course, my mom. Who died of cancer. But you know this, but it did make me think about, I think she was ready to go when she went.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds crazy because she had two young women, daughters, 19 and 22. But she had had thyroid cancer when she was in her late 20s, which I haven't thought that much about. But when I really think about it, I'm like, that was the beginning of my parents' marriage.
Wow. Yeah, that's intense.
And at the time, it wasn't. Now I think it's much more treatable. She had Hodgkin's disease in her thyroid or something like that. But like, what an intense way to start your marriage. And she said that all she did was hoped and prayed to be able to have kids and watch them grow up. And here I was starting my sophomore year of college, you know? So I wish she had wished for her to be able to see her grandkids.
Did you just say, I wish she had wished?
Maybe she could have adjusted that in her prayers.
You have notes for your mom's wish?
Well,
Let me just pause you here.
it worked out.
Slight tweak.
Can we go a little longer? Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
Anyway.
Oh, that's crazy and super sweet. Wow.
Okay.
Speaking of death, if one of us perishes, I was thinking about like I was thinking about the other day, we were driving up to the cabin and we saw that train of Jeeps that were going four-wheeling.
Yes.
And I thought, boy, that seems fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not a go for buying and mudding in a big, huge, crazy Jeep with big wheels guy. That's something I'd have to like meet someone and go do that once.
Is that called four-wheeling?
Four buying, four-wheeling,
Oh.
mudding. But the thought crossed my mind. It was like a funny thought, but sad because in this scenario, loved ones are dying. But I thought that would be a weird, funny, odd thing that like, if my like grieving process was I became like a off-roading Jeep guy. And then I thought how funny, I wondered, would you, from wherever you were, would you be looking down with a smile and be like, that fucking dumb, crazy guy, I love him so much. Not like with like a fun smile. Or would you be like, why the fuck did he buy that Jeep?
Well, I would be disappointed because...
You would be disappointed.
Yeah, now you're all of our children's god.
Okay.
That's a dangerous hobby.
I don't think it's that dangerous.
Our next door neighbor died doing it. I mean, it's a fact.
That was a... I don't even know if I need to clarify. I don't even know why.
Well, it's just so absurd that you're going, I don't know how dangerous it is.
It was a dune buggy accident.
What?
Yeah.
Isn't that the same thing?
No, it's different.
This was years ago, by the way. It's not fresh.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I have the church giggles. Okay. But it's dangerous.
I don't think it warrants your post-Earth. I don't think that should be your worry.
Okay.
And now, okay, this is interesting because now I would hope, what a weird thought
Okay.
exercise this is. I would think that you'd be like, oh, that's funny, but like, you know, he's just, if he's getting joy from this thing, great. But it is funny that you might be disappointed if I did buy a Jeep with big wheels and was going mudding every weekend.
Yeah, I don't want you doing stuff that's really dangerous.
Okay, so can we think of an example for both of us?
I want you to get into like watercolors. Or, I mean, I know I'm scared of everything. This morning in Pilates, we were doing like... We were doing...
Okay.
We were on these reformer machines, and we were doing where, like, if you don't know this machine, it's not going to make sense. But your hands are on the foot bar, and your feet are on the carriage, and you're doing planks. And basically, your feet are pushing out. So you're doing a plank, but you're, like, hovering above ground by several feet. And all I could think the whole time was, oh, my God, if this foot bar collapses, I'm fucking fucked. Like, my face will be messed up. My moneymaker, like, everything's going to be.
In Pilates class?
Yes. And
how common is that injury?
Not at all. And I literally had the thought, like, Elizabeth, what are you worried about? This is fine. Like, look around. No one's thinking about this. You have a problem.
Yeah.
You know?
This is extreme.
But I don't think my fear of Mudd'n for you, when you're going to be all they have.
But
you're going to be
what if
all they've got. No.
What if they want to go Mudd'n?
You're not pulling them in Mudd'n.
I don't think it's that dangerous. This is not where I wanted this conversation to go. And to be honest, it's just making me want to mud more. But the reason I brought this up to you and this fucked up scenario of, I'm sorry, in this scenario, you've perished, is I don't think in our current relationship, it is frustrating. I would never get your permission to go mudding or be a mudder. And what does that mean about me?
What?
You know? I wish we had more of a Mudd'n type, I don't even know.
Relationship? Mud forward relationship?
I couldn't even entertain the idea of being a mudder unless you had left this earth. It's complicated.
Can I say something else that is really sensitive? Although I think
Yeah.
it's gotten way better.
Okay.
I don't like. This is going to be hard. I'm just going to bring the vibe way down.
Okay.
Now, this is interesting because it is Mudd'n, and I think you're a very good mountain driver. I don't trust your driving out in the world, like 100%. That's another part of it. Are you driving?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I'm not riding shotgun.
Are you wearing a helmet?
There's a roll bar on the Jeep. That's your helmet.
Okay. I don't know. I don't love it, but I guess if I'm dead, how'd I go? Don't say it.
Yeah, I don't think we need to say it. Do you want to talk about my driving more? Because here's the problem with
Haven't I
driving with you.
gotten better?
You have gotten better, but I know that you are, what's it called? Second seat driving?
Backseat driving.
You're backseat driving the entire time you're in the car with me. I see it happening. I feel it.
No, it's not the entire time. Like going up and back from the cabin, this last time I was proud of myself because I really wasn't. There were a few times where you're going very fast and all of the cars, there's a sea of red. And I sometimes think you're not seeing like the 3 cars in front of the car in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And you think the car in front of you is just like slowing down, but I'm like, we're about to all come to a screeching halt. And so I would brake much sooner than you do, but it all works out. It's fine. I'm curious if maybe this is connected to the ADD because like sometimes I feel like your focus isn't taking it all in the way I do. This, you know what I mean?
But I think it's your fear as a human just being out in the world more so than the reality probably. But because you don't know what I am or am not picking up on or doing.
Well, I can kind of tell, or maybe yeah, that's true, I guess. But I mean,
I think you're more of a nervous Nelly backseat driver.
no, I'm not though. I'm actually, I consider myself a very good driver. And like, maybe it's just when I'm in the car, but when you're about to like change lanes, it feels like it's I'm very good at like, I change lanes. I get it. I know how to not be in cars' blind spots. Like I feel like I have a really good sense of things.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but I will say, I think I've gotten better. And I actually think you've gotten better too as a driver. But I wouldn't say that's like a thing that I'm like, you should go take this to the mountains. Like go roll down hills and stuff in your car is all.
What about...
By the way, the backseat driver thing. Okay. When we were first dating, or not even first dating, we were a bit into it. And your dad, who I love so much, we were driving in Idaho and it was at night. And it's like windy 2-lane roads,
Okay.
which he has driven a million times. I recognize this. But also he's like, getting up in years.
Okay.
And he had his brights on. And I was like, and cars were coming. I said something. I'm such a brat. But also like, this is a place I feel, if I'm in an Uber or something, I'm like going to say it versus not say it. So I said something and he was like, it's fine. And I was like, please turn your brights off.
I don't even remember this. That does seem crazy that you would keep your brights on with cars coming at you.
Well, he finally did, but he was grumbling about it.
Huh.
And then you got me, this is so stupid, but this is how like much this is carried forward. You got me this very sweet book for my 30th birthday.
Okay.
Which is called I Love Elizabeth. I still have it. I cherish it. And it's like all of our family and friends sent in a picture and then a thing about why they love me. Like you're such a good gift giver.
Okay.
Your dad's entry was, I love Elizabeth because she's the best backseat driver around.
Are you serious?
Yes, this is years later.
Wow.
So that really stuck with him.
Yeah. I mean, you can feel you doing it. You're really good at it.
But, okay.
You are the best.
And I guess it's why he loves me. So,
That's crazy.
Isn't that funny?
I don't remember that. That's wild. And it was in a book that I made. We'll have to
I
find
can
that.
show you. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see that.
I am trying to be better about it. I feel like this last drive, I was pretty chill the whole time, except for maybe 2 little times where I was like, but I don't say anything.
You don't have to.
Okay.
I'm happy for you to drive. I just need to drive up the mountain part because I get too car sick.
Does it give you comfort to know I'm also the person who's in Pilates going, I'm about to fall and break my skull?
No, that's the thing is I think over the years, I used to get way more annoyed at your backstreet driving, where now I do take it much more with a grain of salt because I know you are, not to be diminutive, but I just kind of think of you as a more nervous Nelly like you are in Pilates, like, you know.
Oh, no, but I don't want to be moving through the world as a, like, tightly wound. Is that how I come across in,
Just
like,
in,
general?
like, some things, and, like, safety things.
Okay, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we talk about Ballerina Farms?
Is there an update?
Oh, is there?
Are you serious?
Now, I'm really torn about this. I just did an episode of Bitch Sesh with Casey and June Diane Raphael.
Yeah.
Casey Wilson. It's on their Casey and Danielle's Garbage World now, if
Okay.
anyone wants to go listen to it. And we're talking about Sister Wives. We're in season 18.
Yeah.
And we've been with those ladies for 18 years, so I feel much more comfortable, kind of like our feelings with them are nuanced and layered and complicated. But I realized I think we just also live in this world where we're so quick to kind of cut people down, and I'm very guilty of that sometimes. And I would like to more live in a world where I'm lifting people up and not so fast going to the like critique or whatever. I mean, that's also my double Virgo coming into action. And the truth is, I'm such a harsh critic of myself. So if I seem critical of someone or something or anything, it's truly just because that's the voice in my head that I carry with me, you know.
Sure.
But the Ballerina Farms thing, I have complicated feelings about her. I do think she's misrepresenting their life, and that's problematic in the sense of
This is the big Mormon influencers that live on the cool farm.
Yeah, she has like 20 million Instagram followers.
This is the one like a few weeks ago I started looking at, and I did start getting sucked into it.
It's impossible not to get sucked in.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why they have 20 million followers.
Yeah.
Is the problem also because they like bought all of this land that they're portraying like they are farming it and living a farming lifestyle, but they're not. And it's there's a whole write-up about how this is problematic that's much better done than what I can say. But if you Google Ballerina Farms, like money or Ballerina Farms, there's this incredible kind of interview that was done that this woman who's very smart and not an idiot like me is talking about the issues with it and also how it relates to real American farmers. Okay. It's like they're play acting this homestead life when it's really not sustainable. And if you break down what their costs and expenses, and let alone the fact that like you can't spend 15 hours making like meatball parmesan for your husband where you're picking the tomatoes, you're making the bread, you're milking the cow, you're making the cheese, you're doing all of this and raise your 11,000 kids, you know, like.
But that's how people used to do it back in the day.
But the kids, yes, I guess, but I think there was much more of a communal situation.
Okay.
And I think that's what's happening behind the scenes is there are nannies and there are people are paid to help.
Okay.
So where am I going with this? Ballerina Farms. I did Wormhole recently. I can't help but love it.
It's pretty alluring and a fun thing to zone out on.
She's so beautiful and effortless. She does seem like she doesn't take herself too seriously. It's like this perfect balance that's almost scary.
Okay.
Where I'm like, have you thought this through so much, or is this authentic? I don't know.
It's probably both.
It's probably both.
I think it would have to be both. To me, what you're describing without knowing that much behind the scenes, it feels like they're making this content that I don't know what the end of it is, right? Are they promoting something? Or is it just like...
They're making money, honey.
Do they make like long videos and stuff? Because I think it's really hard to make money even if you have like a big TikTok or a big Instagram. Are they doing like brand deals and stuff like that?
I'm not sure, but they sell stuff on their website. It all looks great. I mean, her bread knife, I really do want. And it's not that expensive.
Okay, cool. But so it's like, they're like, oh, this is, maybe she's like, this is what I want to do. The content looks beautiful, how they shoot it and everything.
It's beautiful, and it does capture like, so whatever. It's so appealing.
Mm-hmm.
I know behind the scenes is problematic. And for anyone who's wondering, it's this former New York City ballerina. The story that they've crafted is that they've moved to Utah. And what the truth is that his dad is like a founder of JetBlue. They have gazillions of dollars.
Okay.
And the way this thing broke it down is like they could not make a living. Like the way they live and how they farm or whatever is not, they're not turning a profit.
Okay.
And so I feel like this is like kind of the perfect metaphor. And I am happy for her, and I wish her, I don't have like animosity towards her, but I do wish there was like a little bit more transparency, I guess. And by the way, I do respect these people could be living on a yacht. Mm-hmm. They're not. They're living this kind of wholesome Mormon, Utah farming lifestyle.
I remember what I said to you. I was like, that stove looks dope. And you said that's a
$35,000 stove that looks like
whoa.
It's from like homesteading, That's a perfect kind of metaphor for the situation. Here's another one.
Okay.
Hold on to your hats.
Okay.
The Mrs. America contest took place last week.
Okay.
There was a loophole where anyone can apply to be like for Miss North Dakota or South Dakota. I forget which one.
And not have to be from that state?
Yes.
Because they don't have a big enough population?
They do.
Not enough hotties?
I mean, it does. It's a weird thing.
It is weird. That is really weird. Okay.
And the fact that she would like know about this.
Wait, she wrote herself in?
She went in as Mrs. North Dakota or South Dakota.
And turned her back on Utah?
She won. She is now Mrs. America.
Hold on. I don't know what's happening in my body.
I don't want your body.
I don't know what's happening right now.
Your
I have
body...
like a sharp pain. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if I'm excited.
See?
What? She won Miss America or some other?
She is Mrs. America now.
Hold on. Like the pageants they used to throw? It wouldn't be Mrs. America?
Yes, there is Mrs. America. There's
MRS?
Yes, married women. There's Miss America
okay.
And there's Mrs. America.
She seems so pro-Utah, though. It seems weird to me.
But
okay.
This is very of their thing.
Okay.
It's kind of opportunistic, and it's like, but you know what?
Hold on.
We all take our opportunities.
Yeah. Let's talk about what's the difference between her and us, okay?
Oh, my God.
No.
Where do we start?
As people that are we make a podcast. We have an Instagram and a TikTok. We put out videos.
Our content is nowhere near as like, I mean.
No, but what is the difference between us? We're both making, you're taking. Should we start physically? No.
Financially?
But what if she is like us? It's just like, oh, this is this thing I like to do. And
it must be.
Like, I'm good at, she definitely
doesn't have to do it.
She's good at it.
Yeah, she is. She's
phenomenal. Like, this is what I want to do with my time and my life. And guess what? Hey, now we're making money from it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Who's to say that's wrong? I think what's the people who have critiques, and there are way more things to have critiques about, I think, is the stuff I can't speak to it eloquently, but it is problematic in the sense of like, is painting this, there's this kind of thing right now, especially with like white women to play act homesteading. I mean, during quarantine, I wrote those homesteading posts,
Yeah.
that
Those are funny as shit.
are funny as shit, but thank you. But it's kind of tongue-in-cheek mocking this idea of like, we're all play acting like we're back to the earth, but we're not.
I kind of don't think you're being fair here, though, because
I love it when you push back against my unkindness.
I'm really defending this ballerina right now because you're making a bunch of assumptions. And why can't she? I'll play devil's advocate. I don't even know if I believe this myself.
I know.
But why is it really wrong that she's making this content if it's not actually reality and might inspire some people to try to do it and fall on their faces? Because your beef is like, this is not good. She's going to make other ballerinas want to try to make this stuff. But it's like, she's just making this cool thing. She like what I'm trying to think of like an example that an idea that we could have.
No, I think what it is, and you know what? Maybe there is transparency now because the secret's out. They have millions and millions of dollars. I don't know how much help they have, but I am imagining someone going, you know what? We should move to a farm and buy thousands of acres of land that could be farmed by other real American families who are really farming and aren't selling like 10 of these like very fancy hogs a year and calling themselves farmers. And then she calls herself a farmer, but really she's like selling a false dream kind of.
But that's like all of TV. That's all of America.
Oh, shit. You're right. You know what? And I just, part of it is I imagine me doing that and like how I would look at the end of making you a fucking like meatball Parmesan sub or whatever it is that she made her husband from scratch. And by the end of the video, like my kids would be screaming.
Right.
Someone would be hurt. I would look like I had been run over by a bus. I would be like, it would be just such a disaster.
Well, it just sounds like jealousy and envy, sort of.
Yeah.
But
obviously.
And if everything gets exposed and it's like, oh, it was this horrible world of fake and it was really toxic behind the scenes and whatnot.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
I got my bucket of popcorn here to watch that saga.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, it's kind of like Sister Wives. I mean, Sister Wives started to be like, polygamy is fine. We're not all these monsters. And it works. Well, guess what? Shit don't work.
But what you're describing more is like, imagine you went to high school with this ballerina, okay? And then you see this trajectory and you're like, it's not fair. Like her dad has so much money. It's not fair. But it's also like,
she's enjoying her life.
Are you making the big, like she is using her time. Like she is doing something. It almost is this jealousy that it's like,
yeah.
I wish I was doing that. I bet the only reason she's doing it is that because the JetBlue money or
it is
enter
like,
whatever
I think the
excuse.
only reason she can, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're right.
But she was.
I am jealous. Yes.
Are you
correct.
saying that like her, and she was a really good ballerina, right?
Yes.
And are you saying the only reason that happened is for like, don't you think there were girls in her ballet class that were shooting shots because they were jealous for different and finding other excuses?
Yes.
This just sounds, let her be. I love her.
Okay. I'm going to go follow her after this, I guess, and then
let's lift her up.
Let's lift her up. I don't want to lift her up necessarily. She doesn't need it. She can leap off this ground.
She floats in the air. I mean, it is like how she looks
You're right.
like she flies.
Who am I to dig on anyone who's just enjoying their fucking life? But I wouldn't be surprised if there was some dirty dirt going on behind the scenes. And also, you factor in the Mormonism of it all and the whole push for Mormon influencers from within the church. And
sure, that's fascinating.
But damn, is she not good at it? She is real good.
That's the other thing. She is fake or not fake. She's one of the best.
Oh, yes.
In the niche.
Yes.
So kudos to her.
Kudos to Mrs. America, North Dakota, 2023.
That is the biggest disappointment of this entire story to me.
Is that she
turned her back on Utah.
She turned her back. Yeah. Why didn't she just submit as Utah? She won the whole ding dang thing.
Do you think she goes back see if she's smart? She goes back next year
Well,
through
she is
Utah,
smart, we've
and then that's
established.
probably a crazy loophole where she'll be the first 2-time winner because she could get Utah and North Dakota. That's what she should do.
I love
That
it.
is some fucking
Boss.
champion boss shit.
Yeah. And she can do it. I mean, she can do no wrong. I love her. You know who else I love? Just love her. Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer Garner.
She has such a positive Instagram presence.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm not familiar with the gram.
I just thought of her because she commented on Ballerina Farms. Like, I was watching the Miss America thing and going, Mrs. America, and going like, I feel a little weird about this.
Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer Garner commented like, way to go, you're all, whatever. And I was like, that's so nice.
Yeah.
I'm not like that, but she is very, very nice.
That's cool.
She seems really good. Seems.
See?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, I think we've done enough here. I'm done.
Okay.
I won't be on caffeine next time. I feel like I was a little unhinged.
I liked it. It was just a little bouncy. I appreciate your bounce.
Oh, thanks.
Can
More
I tell you
bounce
one
for
last
the
thing?
Ounce? Yes.
This is gross. I pulled out a white/gray nose hair out of my nose.
Woof.
That was like 1.5 inches long.
Ew.
Isn't that gnarly?
Yes, that is gross. But can I say something that's going to turn the tides here?
Yeah.
I'm really, like, your gray is coming in your beard and your head, and
Yeah.
I'm really liking it.
Oh, thanks.
It's real nice.
It's coming in on my head?
Yeah.
Really?
Like on the sides, because you just got your hair cut, and I was admiring it the other night in bed, and I was like, this is good.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. I wasn't expecting gray nose hairs.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a few gray pubic hairs down there.
Are you serious?
Yeah, which also means that, I mean, on my head, I'm just getting a little gray at the temples and stuff,
Okay.
which I'm just going to kind of leave if you're cool with. Do
Oh,
you
yeah. I
mind?
like the gray. I think it's cool
Okay.
as shit. Yeah.
But from I'm Sorry, I remembered because Andrea Savage on I'm Sorry,
Yeah.
who was our lead actor, showrunner, creator, everything.
Yeah.
When we were writing some of the episodes, people always, because that show's pretty raunchy, it's very funny.
Yeah, yeah.
And people would always come up to her and be like, I have the best story for your show. And then just tell her like the grossest or
Right.
most inappropriate thing. And she's like, oh, and it's not right at all.
Yeah.
But she had a relative, an older female relative, come up to her at like a family event. It was like, I got to tell you. And it ended up being amazing.
Yeah.
But it was basically like she finally went to get laser hair removal done.
Okay.
And she was having the whole kitty
Whoa.
done.
Okay.
And what she didn't know, and they didn't tell her, is that it only gets dark hairs. So any gray, because it's like the laser connects with the pigment. So
Okay.
any grays or white hairs down there won't fall out. And so she had the laser done. And then she said, so I was just left with this scraggly, and it looked like a witch's cleft chin.
Oh my God. That's so funny. That kind of blows my mind that's how that works.
Yeah.
Dang.
So anyway, I'm kind of past,
But does that also mean that like the gray nose hair that I had, any hair that comes out of that channel, follicle, or whatever it is gray from here on out? Like
That's a
once the hair
great
goes
question.
gray,
I don't know.
does it stay gray? Like if you pluck it out, does the hair come back out that spot still gray?
Well, the old wives' tale is it comes out and brings two friends.
I thought it was better to pluck than to shave.
Well, you can't shave in your nose, first of all, right? I mean,
Well, what do you think I do with the nose clipper thing in there?
oh, okay. So, shaving, it makes the hair come back like coarser just because the end of it is cut flat, but it doesn't make the hair's not thicker or anything like that. Shaving just makes it feel like it's coarser. I mean, this is more for your beard or legs.
Okay.
But plucking, I don't know. I mean, I think the follicle has to like regenerate and, I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I do think it comes back gray per the old wives' tale
Crazy. All right, cool.
Okay, we did it. Good night.
Good night.